I knew something wasn't right about that cousin. I just knew it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to KRSTV. This is your boy Kenny. Now remember, subscribe to my channel. Click that bell so you can get notifications every time I drop a video. Also, follow all the information that I have in the description box. Now, this is Ambitions Season 1, Episode 13, and the name of this episode is Since I Lost My Baby, like the song. And let me say, this was a really good episode. I am so happy Ambitions is back because these last two episodes have been I have literally been at the edge of my seat. So, let me begin. The episode picks up. Bella is completely traumatized, because the fact that, due to the fact that Joaquin is kidnapped. And then also she had also heard that they found the dead boy who was Joaquin's age. So she's immediately thinking that her son could possibly be dead. But Evan comes in and confirms that he went and checked the body and found out that it wasn't Joaquin. And then we see that Evan gets a call from the kidnapper. And the guy's name is Eddie, and he's working with Bella's best friend, Pella. And that's what we saw in the last episode. But he pretty much is making his demands, and he's telling him that he will kill this boy, if he don't come up with the money. And then we actually see Eddie and Pella interacting with each other. He locked Joaquin in the bathroom, and he's literally crying his head off. And he's pretty much saying that, man, with this damn crying, I might just kill the little motherfucker. And she was like, no, we're not doing that. First of all, I know we're going to get the money because Bella got a magic vagina. I have been the co-star of her life all this time, and it's about time I finally come up, and she'll figure out the way to get that money. She's always gotten men to give her what she wants. She's always... So we come to realize that Pella actually hates Bella, and she's jealous of her, as I had mentioned before. But literally, she hates her. And she wants her life. And she says that, we just going to keep on playing this game. We're going to get the money. Everything's going to be just fine. And next thing you know, we see the two of them get in bed and start rolling around while Joaquin is still screaming in the bathroom. And I'm like, oh, this bitch is evil as hell. Just evil. So we see next that Titus is throwing something in the trash and he finds a pregnancy test. And immediately he starts with the bullshit because I immediately thought Deja, because Deja was just in a relationship with that boy Reza, and I'm pretty sure her and Reza were sexually active. But immediately Titus starts with the bullshit as soon as he sees Amara. Is it mine? And she's like, what the hell are you talking about? And he pulls up the pregnancy test and it's positive. He was like, so tell me, is it me or is it Damien? And Amara's like, you got some damn nerve coming at me with this bullshit. Are you serious? And then you're like, use your fucking brain. Like, how would I get pregnant when I only been active with you? But Titus is still on his shit because he still thinks that she recently had sex with Damien, even though we all know she hasn't. But then Deja comes downstairs and confirms that it was hers. And immediately Titus is ready to go up to the school to find Reza and beat his ass. But she's like, look, and then Amara asks Deja, like, did you stop taking your pills? And she was like, yeah, I didn't like the way they made me feel. But she was saying that, look, my period came late, and that's the reason why I chose to take the test. But I don't know whether it's accurate or not. So Amara takes control and says she's going to have her see... she's going to get her to see her OBGYN to find out whether she's pregnant or not. So that whole situation was just crazy because Titus was ready to be like, is it mine? I'm like, really, dude? Like, yeah, we know that Amara has done her shit, but that was in the past. She lately has not been unfaithful to you. But we all know that Damien is still watching because y'all know he got cameras up in the house. So he's watching everything like it's a damn TV show. So, so pretty much we see back at Bella's apartment, she's still hysterical. Um, And then Evan comes in, she's pretty much looking at the registry of all of these missing children. So she's literally shaken up. And he's pretty much saying that, look, I got Alex and Will on this. And she was saying that, look, I know your people on it, but I don't really trust their asses. I mean, after all, didn't you use these same people to fuck with me? And he's saying that, look, these are people that are at the top of their game. So we're gonna find Joaquin. I got people on it. And she was saying that, why don't you just pay the damn ransom? You got the money. He says, yeah, I got the money. But how I know it's a guarantee that Joaquin is gonna live? So let me handle this my way. And she's just like, won't you just pay the ransom? Just do it. Just pay it. And then all of a sudden, he gets a text asking him, where the hell are you? From Stephanie. So then we see that Stephanie is at her firm and they're talking about the case that she has against Hunter Purifoy. And she gets a text, from Darcy, her, that she has some information to give her. So we see that go on. Then we see that Rondell is at Thelma's place, and we meet her cousin Darcia, who's from Chicago. Of course she's in town because, Senior just got murdered and they're planning his funeral. So she's there. And, at first she was staying at a hotel, but Rondell was like, no, you my cousin. And I think they're first cousins. And, so she invited Darcia to stay with her. And I'm going to get to that because I've been giving like a side eye to that cousin throughout the show. And I'm going to get to it. So just hold on there with me. All right, so then we get a scene with Amara goes to see Evan at his office. She goes there to pay her respects to the fact that he lost his father, but he's like, I already know you're not here for that. Why you really here? And then she mentions, Daphne and Herschel, and that, that y'all had this whole pay-for-play operation, working with Greg Peters, and and I know that Daphne is your mistress and all of that. And he was saying that, why would I have a mistress? I'm a married man. And, and if you got this information on Daphne, why just go after her? And she was like, well, why go for a guppy when I can go after a shark? So they start going tit for tat for each other in this whole situation. And she was saying that, I know Greg Peters has benefited off of this whole situation, and you being affiliated with the Carlyles through Stephanie, you guys are in bed together. So if you don't want to lose your position as mayor or be thrown in prison, why don't you tell me everything? And then he throws back at her, oh, so this is the type of tactics you use to make Herschel take his life? Like, first of all, honey, if you really had any real information, you wouldn't be coming up in here, shooting your mouth off. You would have had some things done already. So they literally were like going war for war. And he was saying, and then she again starts bringing in like, so you really are just going to stick with the Carlyles because you have a lot to gain from this situation. And she was like, and he was like, so do I need to talk to my lawyer? And she was like, well, don't bother because your wife is busy. Especially, she's busy throwing herself at my husband. Yeah, the other day when I went to his hotel room, I found her in there half butt naked. And all of a sudden, you saw Evan's ass get mad. I was like, y'all know Evan is simple as hell. So I'm like, I'm waiting to see what he's going to do with that shit. So Stephanie talks to Darcy, and she gets this email that Hunter has sent out, I think back in 97, about information in regards to Purifoy, whatever. And she's like, oh, we got his ass now. So Stephanie calls Titus and tells him to check his email. And Titus is heated. He's like, what the fuck is this? And then we see that Titus goes to Hunter with this information, and he was like, and pretty much, um, Titus confronts Hunter about the email and everything, and pretty much the email, pretty much he sent to his cardiologist saying, giving him instructions to increase the dosage amount of Limedol, the opioid, you know, the same opioid that killed Stephanie's sister. So, and then he also sent something to his marketing team saying that he wanted to target the low income black community with this shit. So Hunter literally has been exposed with this email. So because Stephanie had let Titus know, like, yeah, I think you're gonna need to write a big fat check, and but this was like 20 years ago. But due to the fact that with all the information that Titus sent over to her, she went through everything with a fine tooth comb and found out that Hunter did have an agenda to up the dosage of Limedol, and he is targeting the black community. Because, like, Titus just burst into his office. He's like, damn, don't you people knock? I'm like, what the fuck you mean, you people, Hunter? You racist bastard. And he pretty much tells Titus, well, you need to fix this. Letting Titus know, like, look, I pay you $500,000 a year to take care of my interests. I ain't settling for shit. I ain't paying them nothing. So, you need to work this out. And then, Titus ended up walking off, but then Hunter's mad as shit. Because it's like, yeah, it's like your chickens came home to roost. Your true intentions towards the black community got exposed. And he kind of let Titus know that, yeah, I ain't paying you a $500,000 a year. I'm paying you to clean up my shit. And Titus is really seeing how much of a racist piece of crap Hunter really is. But then again, he already knew that, but it's becoming more apparent of how he really feels. So then we get a scene with Bella, Perla, and Evan is there. They have a video. So they have a video of Joaquin where he's talking, and the kidnapper is still demanding the money. And then while this video is being played, Evan is making some connections. Like, it sounds like, there's a train and there's kids outside playing. I heard all of this commotion in the background. So he's probably, and I also heard planes, so he's probably near the airport. So Evan then got his boys to search that location to probably find where Joaquin really is. And then Bella's just telling them, like, why don't you just give him the money? I just want my son back. And then we see that Darcia has completely, pretty much put herself all in the middle of Thelma's place. She's handling everything, and they're having conversations about how they were kids back in the day and how they used to mess with Evan and all of that. And she just wanted to take over everything. Like, oh no, you rest. I'll take care of this. I'll take care of that. Y'all remember, I know how to run this too. You forget, when I was a kid, I used to work in the kitchen along with you and your daddy. So I know this place like the back of my hand. But I'm like, what is really going on with you, Darcia? Something ain't right. Because she just literally just threw herself into taking over everything and just telling Rondell, oh no, you don't got to do that. I'll take care of this. Oh no, you don't got to do that. I'll take care of that. And I'm like, what's really your angle, girl? What's going on? So then we, Stephanie goes to Titus' office and goes in about, what she found out about Hunter Purifoy. And she was saying that, that $500 million, nah, we scratch that. I want $750 million, and you got 24 hours. And he lets him know that, look, Hunter's not gonna settle. Hunter's not gonna settle. He done made it known that he ain't giving another damn dime to the Carlyles. So all of a sudden, she was like, you really don't want to go to court with me on this, because with this information, I will slaughter you. And then she's like, oh, how's Amara, by the way? Oh, Titus was like, oh, you need to keep my wife's name out your mouth. And then all of a sudden she was like, well, I hope you and Amara can work through this. After all, you guys are staying in different locations. And as soon as she said that, Deja walked in. And she's like, oh, this is your daughter. Oh, she's so beautiful. Love the piercing. And then walked off. And all of a sudden she tells her father that I just went to the doctor and I got something to tell you. So I'm like, damn, is she pregnant? But we come to find out it's a false alarm. She's not pregnant. But then she's saying that what the hell is going on? You and mom staying in different places and shit? And what's up with this girl Stephanie? She looks shady as hell. I'm like, you better go, Deja. She already picking up that Stephanie got snake-like ways about her. And she's like, and he was saying that no. He's like, are you cheating on mom? Like, what's going on? Like, what's happened? But then she had let him know that she's not pregnant and she walks out, and that's the end of the end of that. But before Stephanie leaves, she runs into Hunter. And her and Hunter go back and forth. And he was like, I knew I smelled something in the air that smelled like roadkill. And I was saying it couldn't be none other than a damn Carlisle. Like, Hunter and Stephanie were really going toe to toe. They were really being nasty with each other. And she was like, you know what? I'm about to take you to the cleaners. I'm about to rip you apart. And he was like, is that how you want to talk about family? She's like, what the hell you mean? She's like, well, I am putting together a lesbian wedding, for my daughter and my future daughter-in-law, Carly. Yeah. And she's like, oh, so I guess you set that up, right? She's like, oh, no, Lori and Carly got together on our own. But then again, I added more money to Lori's trust fund because I just loved how she suckered your little brat into her web. I was like, oh, shit. Ooh, being real nasty, pretty much, sucking the JJ. But then she pretty much says that, oh, but Hunter, before I go, you might want to get your daughter some treatment for her nymphomania, because after all, she does like to get freaky with prostitutes. Remember, she set her ass up, so she got one on Lori. So I was like, wow. But he know his damn daughter's a damn mess, and so was he, because he was talking to one of his pieces, before Titus walked in on him, and that's why he got mad, like, don't you people knock? I'm like, no, motherfucker. This shit's about your business. But he was on his phone with his mistress. So, like father, like daughter, they both nasty as hell. So then we see that Bella and Perla are at Bella's apartment, and she gets a knock on the door, and it's Stephanie. Stephanie is there to discuss her Corazon contract with her, and Stephanie, with her stuck-up entitled ass, was like, well, I made time in my schedule, and due to the fact that I'm doing this pro bono, you can make time to go over this. I made time to come see you. And then she's like, oh, and then when she saw Perla, she was like, oh, you finally took my advice and hired your assistant. Oh, darling, get me some sparkling water with a twist of lime. And Pearl was like, excuse me? She's like, oh, no, she's one of my models. She's not an assistant. And then also when she's about to leave, she was like, okay, see you, Pearl. And she was like, it's Perla. And walked out. I'm like, Stephanie is so disrespectful, it's ridiculous. But then, she asks about where's Joaquin, and she's like, oh, he's in daycare. And she's like, you seem off, Bella. What's going on? And she's like, well, I'm just still saddened about Senior's death. And she's like, oh, yes, it's so touching how you really care about my family. I mean, after all, your mother has been there, for the Lancasters for years, and she's done a lot, helping with Thelma's place. And she's like, yeah, but it's more deeper than that. I'm like, yeah, bitch, because Senior was the grandfather of her son as well. And then all of a sudden, while this is going on, she gets a call from the kidnapper, and she fakes like she's talking about owing money to daycare and everything. And then Stephanie's like, oh, what's going on, honey? But then while she's over there, she sees like some cufflinks on one of Bella's glass stand or whatever. And it comes back to play later. But then she pretty much fakes it with the kidnapper that, I'm gonna get the money. He's like, time is up. You need to hurry up and get this money. And this Eddie using a voice box to talk to her and all this shit. And then all of a sudden, she literally rushes Stephanie out of the damn apartment. She's like, oh my God, I can't believe you're treating me like this after all I've done. I'm like, Stephanie, get the hell out of there with your stuck-up ass. Stephanie had me rolling in that scene. I was like, Stephanie, you doing too damn much. So then, while that's going on, Evan done got his guys at the location. You can hear Joaquin crying in the hallway. They bust down. Eddie pulls Joaquin and tries to fight off the two men, but they shoot Eddie's ass dead, and they get Joaquin. So he pretty much, got his son back, and he was finally returned back to Bella. So I was happy that Joaquin wasn't hurt and that he returned back safely to his mother. So Evan made that happen. And you saw mother and father, group hug with their son, and I'm like, mm-hmm. But if anything, there's going to be some connection that's going to be made. So then we see that Deja finally confronts her mother. She was like, Amara, and she's like, you lied to me. You and dad are staying in separate locations, and I saw that damn Stephanie, because I heard Stephanie talking to dad about y'all living at different places. Like, is he cheating? And is he cheating with her? Because she looks shady as hell. And she was like, no, he's not cheating. I'm the one that cheated. And Deja just walked out. And then we still see the video surveillance that, Bella, that Amara is being watched. That damn Damian Collins. So we know it ain't over for Damian Collins. He's about to enter back into the story sooner than later. So then we get a scene with Stephanie and Evan, and that shit was everything, because she's like, why haven't you responded to my text? And what the hell is going on with you? And he was like, my father just died, or have you just moved on to new business already? And then he says that, and you got some damn nerve asking me where I've been. What about your ass? I mean, I heard about your little run-in with Titus Hughes. Yeah, Mara told me. She's like, yeah, I had to settle a no score. And he was like, bitch, please. The only reason why you didn't screw him was because he wouldn't have you. And then she decides to be like, oh, really? Because I wouldn't have given your ass a second look if Titus was available at the time. And you wouldn't be where you are today if it wasn't for my influence, because without me, you would have been some shafty ass lawyer defending criminals down in the banks. And he was like, you know what? I ain't got time for your black Betty Davis bullshit. I was like, oh shit. Oh, he went there. He's like, first of all, I ain't here for it, and I'm done. And then she's like, oh yeah, and I noticed there was large sums of money that were moved from separate accounts, but then all of a sudden it was put back. Why is that? He was like, I had a situation, but obviously I handled it. But I was like, that was money that he was going to use to get Joaquin, to pay off the ransom, which we all know that. And, and he says that, first of all, I ain't got time for this shit. I'm going to bed. And then all of a sudden we see she pulls out the cufflinks from Bella's apartment. So she's now tied Evan and Bella together. So I'm like, but you're going to find out more than what you bargained for, especially when you find out that Joaquin is his son. So that's going to be interesting. But yeah, she now knows there's something going on between Bella and Evan. Then we get a scene with Titus and Deja. She's about to go back to school. She hugs her father, but she pays Amara's ass dust. And Amara tells Titus that she told her the truth because she was mad at you, and I felt guilty, so I told her the truth that it was me who cheated. And then when Titus goes to hug her, she whispers to him, "We have cameras in the house, so act normal." So she done found out that those cameras, that somebody done put cameras in their house. But I want to know how the hell she find that out, but obviously she knows. Then we get the last scene with Rondell and Darcia. She tells him about that whole deal that she was about to make with Greg Peters and all of that shit. And then, they talk about, Darcia's father's name, I think, was Uncle Jay, and Senior were brothers. So, and she's saying that, I could head back to Chicago, but if you need me to stick around for a while, I will. And I'm just like, yeah, something ain't right here. Like, why do you want to stick around? I mean, if the funeral and everything is taken care of, take your ass back home. But then, all of a sudden, we see on Darcia's tablet, she's looking up information about English Rose. So I immediately started to think something ain't right. Then she goes to light her damn stogie, because she says, I'll lock up and everything. Rondell, just go up and lay down. I got you. She goes to lock the door, lights up her little stogie, and then she ends up calling somebody. She's like, "Girl, it's gonna be like taking candy from a baby. I'm about to get more than what I thought I was gonna get." And I'm like, "Oh, this evil bitch." So she there to get some money out of them. And I'm thinking that her father and Senior both were, I think, partners in Thelma's place, and she want her cut of the money. And I think that's gonna be revealed. But that's what went down. If I missed anything, put it down in the comments and let me know your thoughts about this. But until next time, everybody, take care. I swear that damn cousin won't shit.